She didn't want to do it, not that day, not ever. But when her sister called her in a panic, voice shaking with exhaustion and desperation, Amber couldn't say no. Please, just this one time, Melissa had begged over the phone. I have the flu, I can't even stand up. You just have to go over and watch Ella for the day. Amber exhaled. She looked at her empty schedule, one she'd cleared for a long overdue lazy Sunday, and nodded more to herself than to Melissa. Fine, but just this once. Melissa coughed and whispered her thanks, texted the address, and told her the family's name. Mr. Landon and his daughter Ella. Amber threw on something simple but neat, tied her hair back, and grabbed a book for the day. She wasn't a professional nanny like her sister. She was a barista with an artistic streak and little patience for overindulged kids. But she liked children enough, and she figured it'd just be cartoons, coloring books, and snacks. She took the train to the suburban edge of town. When she walked up the long private drive to the house, she stopped in her tracks. House wasn't the right word. It was a mansion. A modern, sprawling glass and stone estate with a garden that looked hand-sculpted, tall trees standing like guards on either side of the driveway, and a silent black Tesla parked perfectly on the cobblestone. Amber blinked and checked the address. Again. Maybe Melissa had made a mistake, but no. The numbers matched. The door opened before she could even knock. A man stood there, tall and sharp-featured, with close-cropped dark hair and a slight frown that deepened when he saw her. You're not Melissa? Amber smoothed her jeans awkwardly. No, I'm her sister. Melissa's sick. I'm Amber. She said she called you. He nodded slowly. His eyes were intense, gray like storm clouds. Yes, she did mention backup. I didn't expect. His voice trailed off. Amber raised a brow. Didn't expect what? He looked mildly embarrassed. No, sorry, never mind, come in. The interior was even more beautiful. Quiet elegance, modern lines, but with warmth. Not cold, not showy. Just tastefully rich. The kind of place people dreamed about on Pinterest. She was still staring at a waterfall-like art installation in the hallway when a small blur shot down the stairs. Amber? The girl said, big brown eyes wide with curiosity. That's me, Amber said, crouching down. You must be Ella. Ella nodded and smiled, a little shy, a little sparkly. You look like Melissa. People say that. Mr. Landon cleared his throat. She's 6, smart, needs snacks around 10, likes her puzzles. I'll be working from the home office. Try not to let her watch too much TV. Then he disappeared. Amber raised an eyebrow. No problem. She could handle a smart 6-year-old. Turns out Ella was delightful, bright, funny, and surprisingly independent. They spent the morning building a pillow fort in the living room, reading stories inside it, pretending to be jungle explorers with a flashlight. When Amber offered her a snack, Ella asked politely for apples and peanut butter. At around noon, Mr. Landon came out for coffee. He stood in the kitchen, watching silently as Amber helped Ella cut out paper crowns. You're good with her, he said finally. Amber turned. I like kids. You're not a nanny, though. She tilted her head. Is it that obvious? He smiled faintly, the first smile she'd seen on him. It changed his face entirely. You're not afraid to get glitter on your shirt. I guess I'm not. He poured his coffee. I'm Michael, by the way. In case you didn't know. I figured. Michael Landon. Your name's on the mailbox. He chuckled softly. Right. He left again, and the day passed gently. After lunch, they made cookies. Amber let Ella crack the egg, and they ended up with flour all over their hands and noses. When Michael returned around 4, he stared at the kitchen in stunned silence. I'll clean it up, Amber said quickly, realizing the chaos, but he wasn't angry. He looked nostalgic. She hasn't laughed that hard in a long time. Amber softened. She's a really happy kid. Not always, he said more quietly than before. It's been a rough year. Her mother passed last spring. Amber didn't know what to say. I'm so sorry, he nodded. She's doing better now, but she gets lonely. I work too much. Amber looked at him more closely. The suit, the house, the silence. She suddenly understood. He wasn't cold. He was just tired. And maybe a little lost. As she helped Ella wash up, the little girl tugged Amber's sleeve and whispered, "Daddy's nice, but he's sad. I think he liked you." Amber smiled and ruffled her hair. "He's lucky to have you." When it was time to leave, Michael walked her to the door. "I should pay you," he said, reaching for his wallet. Amber shook her head. "No need. It was just one day. You sure?" She nodded. "Besides, I ate most of the cookie dough." He smiled again. "A real one. Do you babysit? On weekends, maybe?" Amber hesitated. "I'm a barista. Weekends are the busy days. I can pay triple whatever the cafe does." She blinked. "Triple? I run a few companies. I'm not hurting for cash." Suddenly it clicked. Landon. That name. She'd seen it on real estate signs, on luxury development ads, on downtown skyscrapers. He wasn't just rich, he was that kind of rich. "I didn't know," she said, surprised. "Didn't know what? That you were you." He shrugged, amused. "Most people don't care after the first hour. I'd rather they not." Amber looked at him, then down at Ella, who was pressing her nose to the window watching them talk. "I'll think about it," she said softly. "Fair." The next Saturday she came back, not because of the money, but because she couldn't stop thinking about the sound of Ella's laughter, or the way Michael looked at his daughter when he thought no one was watching, or the way he watched her, with that strange mix of curiosity and hope, like he hadn't talked to anyone who didn't want something from him in a very long time. They made it a routine. She'd come every Saturday, sometimes Sunday afternoons. Sometimes they'd talk. He'd make tea. Sometimes they'd all watch old movies together, Ella curled between them. Over weeks, Michael opened up. He told her about his wife who'd died of an aneurysm in her sleep, about how he hadn't known how to be a single father, about the guilt of always working, of never being enough for his daughter. Amber listened. She didn't offer advice. She just was there. And slowly something changed. One night, after Ella had fallen asleep early on the couch, Michael walked Amber out. The evening air was cool, a breeze tugging her scarf loose. "I used to dread weekends," he said suddenly. "Now I count down to them." Amber looked at him, unsure what to say. He continued, "You remind me life isn't just about keeping everything running. It's about moments. Silly, glitter-covered cookie dough moments." She smiled. "That's what makes it worth it." He stepped closer. "Would it be too forward if I asked to take you out? Not as Ella's nanny. Just as someone I'd really like to know better?" Amber's heart skipped. She nodded. "I'd like that." They didn't rush. They didn't call it anything for a while. But every week, the bond grew deeper. Months later, at Ella's 7th birthday party, Amber was the one helping her blow out candles. And Michael, watching from across the lawn filled with balloons and laughter, didn't see a temporary nanny. He saw the woman who'd walked into their lives for one day and stayed.